quickly, sharply adjust roll based on operator could be enough to throw them off.
Certainly so. Nico has well and truly abused the buck in all honesty, especially down in the basement. You know, a lot of people would probably go for the sledge and try to open up the kitchen flooring, where we generally see Nico go to logistics and vertical hole from the second floor, which obviously means you're not so much in danger. Now I'm seeing a blaringly obvious cheeky pick here on the Tachanka. And of course, it's none other than bloody Nico. Of course it's not. And Bailey is actually the sixth picked onto the Bandit. Oofed.
Yeah, very spicy. I'm actually really excited about this because, yeah, look, Nico is certainly no stranger to pulling out some very interesting and revolutionary strats himself. And we definitely don't see a lot of Tachanka played in general, but also in Clubhouse, and Clubhouse basement at that. I'm really excited to see how this plays out.
I mean, if you think about the potential it has to deny the plant around the armory area, it could well be viable here, you know. The lack of the smoke is obviously going to be quite a hindrance, and hopefully that void will be filled by Nico himself. As we start to look at the setup here, may as well have a little bit of a cheeky face up top and ensure that Knights have to fully roam clear, but I would say that this most likely won't be stuck, at least for too long. Bailey, how many of the Bandits have he... Okay, good. He is running back with the batteries. I thought, don't you dare stay up top with all 4 batteries left in your pocket.
That old chestnut.
Yeah.
No, all good. And look, I think this is a really interesting landscape for attacking in general, because we have some interesting operators up that normally wouldn't be. I mean, one being Thatcher, but also we do often see a Thatcher and a complementary hard reacher banned, either Hibana or Maverick. It does mean that while Maverick did get the ban, Hibana is up. So to see a Thermite, Hibana, and Thatcher all together on the attack, certainly going to help things progress a lot more simply than we do often see on Clubhouse.
We also have the Mirror, I guess, which is worth noting. I'm not sure what the ban rate is like in APAC South, but it's certainly been Mirror's just banned on pretty much every single map, no matter what you're playing. So that does allow for the defenders to play a little bit more anchored in those positions and make things a little bit more difficult. Now, this is what I was talking about before. Now, Haywood is going to have to face check with the Sledge. Again, Sledge is probably the most used soft breacher on this site, but certainly for Order, it hasn't been as used as much with Nico, so maybe it's no change for Knights whatsoever, and that's a reasoning to its ban.
Yeah, very well. As you point about Mirror, Matic, did just look it up. 31% ban rate, third most banned defender at the moment, APAC South.
Yep.
So yeah, pretty rare to see the Mirror up. This is a really good denial here from Order, just preventing the opening of this kitchen hatch with these impact tricks. They've got more in the pocket, working out really well. Bailey is so close to finding this pixel on the repelled Hibana player. He's not going to find it though, and that hatch is still not open. Not enough of those Excarius have gone off. But there it is. Finally, Matic.
Certainly is, but we've also got a pre-prepped C4 just on the entrance to kitchen from Freezer there, so they're going to need to be careful as they make their way in. Now, in the meantime, Specker has fallen. Not exactly ideal at all for the start of their round. However, they are seriously anchoring on site. Now, Sage takes oil. Josh takes more toward blue stairs. They're going to have a fair bit of control here. Love that peek from Bailey. Sage, he can't get anything from it. He gets swung on as well as Jack Daddy this time to return the favor. At the very least, there's a trade. But that is the Tachanka down, so we're not going to see the full effect of that. 30 seconds here, Raven, and it's starting to fall apart for the Knights.
Yeah, it really has. He's lonesome. He's going to have to try and make something happen, but he's only got 25 seconds. Looks like he's going to take a pretty chill approach. No, he's just going to drop straight down the hatch to site. He's got to try and make something happen here, Manic, but 3 Order players up. It's going to be tough.
Yeah, that's ambitious to say the very least. Love the crossfire being set by Order there. Nate watching down the long line of corridor. Actually, he only just gets there in time, so that could have been devastating. He would have been out of position. But regardless, it is a 1v3 in the end, so Order have really tidied up that round. No need for the Tachanka to really be used, and now we do head to gym and bedroom, which generally we do see. Most teams head to servers, so who knows? I don't like to speculate too much, but certainly a cheeky little change up of the positioning of where you're going to these sites could cause a little bit of havoc, but I don't think it's going to do too much for Knights' attack.
Yeah, we've actually seen some really interesting trends across Clubhouse this stage in APAC South. It is still the most played map, but it's 50-50 in terms of attack and defense wins, which is pretty surprising, honestly. But on top of that, Master and Jim is the most defender-sided site at 74% win rate for the defense. It's actually huge, and the fact that it is less than 50 is pretty incredible.
Feels like it's kind of getting cracked a little bit more now, isn't it? Like, you know, we've seen the Church and Arsenal defenses so much and to such great effect that I feel like teams have really put a big emphasis on it, at least for this stage they have. And I guess that could be a very good reason as to why we're not seeing it. Now, this is really the moneymaker for Order here. If they can convert this site, you know, we go back around the full extension, server doesn't matter as much. You know, CCTV is not that big of a talking point for us if their gym and bedroom looks solid, which, I mean, right now they are out of the gates pretty strong here. Now, Knights need to respond in kind. They do not want to let Order get the better of them, especially at the start of a match. That momentum, that can really burn you quite hard.
Something we have seen a bit with the Knights of late as well is sometimes they do just have slow starts to some maps, and sometimes they recover, sometimes they... It's just the unfortunate reality that Knights have just had a bit of a patchy stage 2, not just in APAC South, but in Oceanic Nationals.
True.
Of course, they are in a pretty good spot standing on APAC South, but I feel like that speaks a lot more to how close everything is. But this round, it's looking pretty solid so far. This is really good time management. They're doing some things nice and quick here in this first minute.
So one thing you can't really knock Knights for is their early rounds. Their phase 1 is generally pretty damn good. You know, hatches, walls. What is Nate doing right now? Surely not going to look to do something cheeky just like this. The peak comes around the corner, but Dino's hard watching it. That's a really important kill for Dino to take away there. Bailey, however, responds perfectly. Just back and forth. No team letting up. It's exactly what we need to see from Order as well, making sure they respond to any kill that Knights find.
Yeah, definitely need to stay in touch with the trades. And Haley is in a pretty precarious position down in bar. Does have a lot of barricades at least to give him those sound cues, create some kind of buffer between the attackers. Josh with a great angle though. That is incredible play from Josh to take out Bailey, giving the Knights man advantage. Coming down to this final minute, they are still sitting in quite a good position for this attack.
Certainly are. Slowly and surely starting to suffocate the site. They've got Jacuzzi open. They're starting to take construction control as well. They're going to get past logistics first as Nico brings it back into the equal. Goodness me, Order in the last minute of their rounds have looked phenomenal. And once again, they look to do it again.
Yeah, a really awkward spot now for the Knights. Trying to come in from this construction position, but of course it is a bit funnily. Juicy is trying to bait out some of these shots, and Josh isn't going to actually run really into anybody straight away. Does get a good shot. No, doesn't actually. It was Specker that gets it, and that is going to give Josh this 1v3.
I don't think this is really achievable. Order are playing this clinically, but you don't want to give any opportunities across. It is just 10 HP that Josh has to play with, but that is enough. However, it is Specker that says enough, puts a stop to any shenanigans. Second round on the board, and another convincing round by them. Another 1v3 in the end.
Yeah, Order looking really solid. And again, I think just their general form lately, over the past few weeks in particular, it's kind of scary. Like, it feels like every week, it just seems like there's just gradual improvement. And they've started to put up some really big wins. And we certainly know through speaking with Specker, quite often it feels like lately with interviews, there's a lot of belief within their team that there is still so much growth for them ahead. So the fact that they are starting to really challenge a lot of these top teams throughout APAC South, it's a really good sign for them. Scary if you're an opponent.
So scary. It's actually terrifying. Alrighty. Moving forward here, you know, as you mentioned about Order's kind of comeback, it is something that we will most likely be noting, especially if they can push into playoffs. If we see them next week in the APAC playoffs, it will be a massive talking point how far they've come in just really, it's been 3 months, Raven, since we kind of were really talking about their massive issues that they were having. You know, Itby Style was really carrying them last season, and now they are stepping into their own. Sure, we've got a player or two that maybe we point to. I'd probably look to Bailey most likely, and Nate has been having a phenomenal stage, but it really just has been such an incredible climb for them. And Knights, I mean, this will be one of the bigger matches they're going to play, because all things considered, if they do not secure playoffs after coming third, you have to remember they finished up third, I believe it was, in APAC last year, which, I mean, boy, oh boy, were we impressed with what they were able to do. But just to fall so quickly in stage 2 would just, I mean, it would be heartbreaking for the progress of this team.
Oh, I totally agree. You know, to finish third overall in APAC, fight through the playoffs, and they got to that position, and then to potentially not even make it in this stage, it would definitely be disappointing and quite depressing for the Knights. So yeah, this is a huge game right here, and they have just done a massive step to beat that Bandit trick, and that's really good progress. And Juicy's found it to Nico as well. This is a great start from the Knights yet again.
Where did that kill come from? That is, I mean, regardless of where it is, that is a nice pick to be able to walk away with. Nico, we've seen him do some pretty ridiculous things. Bailey now off the board as well, with Josh compounding issues in round number 3. This is looking so much better from the Knights, and this is, I think this is where they've really shone in the past. Is what? What? That wasn't just shot off the wall, was it? Okay.
I didn't quite
moving on, Raven.
Yep, moving on we will. The Knights are just tunneling towards this. Hayward, though, he has been down, but it's all on Specker's shoulders. He's trying to retake this garage rafters. That's the sharp shot onto Josh, but he's still got 4 more to find, Manic. It's a really tough ask for him right now.
Oh, God, just speak of his name. I tell you what, this is the kind of player that could possibly make this happen. It's just, you know, you'd call this near impossible, if not impossible. Specker, there's just something about him this stage that really scares me. Quite a monster in his own right. And, I mean, really all it takes is 1 or 2 quick picks, and he's back in this, making himself a rotation hole. And Hayward, that'll be the freest kill of his life. Now, that is so much better from the Knights. Their methodical use of utility there was so impressive, right? You got the Bandit trick that just gets absolutely nullified by the Zofia. Very quick to move around, take construction control. That's the Knights we remember.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a really solid round from them in the end. And most importantly, they didn't let it slip. You know, something we were talking about in the previous round is we do often see good round starts from the Knights, but they've had a lot of trouble closing them out. So to see them be able to finish that still quite strongly, very important. And I think for the Knights here, win condition is just to really stay in touch with order throughout this half. Maybe even try and get that 3-3, I think would be quite the win for the Knights here in the first half.
We'll have to wait and see whether they have the fuel in the tank, because we're now heading back to basement, mind you, back to that Church and Arsenal defense that we saw oh so successful for Order, which is funny to think considering that Knights really had the first pick and they actually found the second onto Nico in dirt, but very quickly did Order respond with a beautiful retake in blue. I'm sure if Knights can, you know, let's just say tidy things up on that attack, this is going to be so much harder for Order to confirm. And that they have to. Like you said, we're really, realistically for Order right now, a 4-2 half is what's on the agenda, and it's what must be done. I think that's just the outcome that they would be not just happy with, but that they would most desire. Bailey, goodness me, so unfortunate not to find that pick.
Yeah, that would have been a really nice start here for Order. He is continuing to just get aggressive here, all the way over in the freezer of Kitchen. Now this is pretty big because if the drones didn't catch his rotate there, and also they had already droned Kitchen, might not have seen him. Doesn't matter. Oh no.
That wasn't Specker, was it?
That was.
Tell me that wasn't Specker. Again, if there's one team this is going to happen on, it's most likely going to be Order. They are certainly a team that has shown us some of the craziest things that I think we've seen in a long time. And that's just adding to it as well. Now, let's focus up here. 2 minutes down, and Order are now starting to feel the pressure of that vertical play. They don't yet have the positions for that we'd be really looking for from Knights, but slowly but surely they will be forced to do so. Now, really going to keep an eye on that timer and see how much they're able to achieve. They need to be very cautious. Again, it's basically a hot plate and kitchen with the C4s. One's already gone though and only one left.
That it is. It's still 90 seconds to go, so a lot of time here for Knights to be able to get some work done, but conversely, of course, still a lot of time here for Order to be able to burn this out. That frag grenade is actually going to destroy the utility that was on the wall. That is unfortunate there from the Knights. They're going to have to re-EMP and re-Selma this wall. Nate looks like he's going to try and go for the opportunity to deny it. Looks like that might actually happen. So again, Order just doing a great job at stopping the Knights from getting this forward progression in the middle of the round.
And that's forward progression that would also force back Order. So, you know, it's actually two factors that they're stopping there. They're stopping one, Knights progressing, and two, the need for Order to fall back or to make some absurdly large play. So this is really such a great start for them. Dino now down in motor. You can see Blue starting to get a bit of pressure on it. Specker, his back was showing. He must have thought he was in the clear there. Josh has pushed through to confirm the kill. Goodness me, Josh and Juicy combine. Nico and Nate both respond, but this is getting a little bit out of hand here for Order. They have to go mighty large. I don't know if they can.
It's going to be a really take of church too. It's just the positioning of the Knights. The Juicy's pretty out of it right now, but Josh holding nice sharp angle. Now with plant confirmed, Nico and Jack Daddy have to clock against them.
That's a kill to confirm the round, surely. Jack Daddy can't get anything done, but Josh has stepped up massively at a round that was most crucial and most important. Now it's on to Order. What do they do here? Do they reattempt basement? Really, you must be seeing at least 2 rounds confirmed in that Church and Arsenal defense. They are going to head to gym and bedroom, which leaves that last round up in question, Raven. But this is a really big outcome for the Knights.
Yeah, really, again, important that the Knights to stay in touch with Order here. And this is where Order, this is the real test for them, right? Like, they started quite strong, but now the Knights seem to have really adapted. They kind of had the little mini comeback. 2 rounds left for the half. Where can Order go from here? Can they readapt? Can they regain that momentum? We've always kind of called out Order a lot of inconsistencies they've had this year in particular. So this is a really big opportunity for them to kind of shake that. You know, if they manage to lock in the next 2 rounds, get a 4-2 half, I think that's great. Like, I think that's definitely the pass mark that Order are looking for.
When you think about that last round as well, like 40 seconds left, 5v5, not a hell of a lot of vertical pressure because Order were playing a little bit more defensive and anchored by dummies, Blue and Church. That is quite a large feat for Knights to be able to come back in that round and put the pressure on them so quickly. I mean, you know, it was 20 seconds and the round was almost over for Order. And now we look at it and we think, what do they have again for this gym defense? Because sure, it looked great, but there were moments of brilliance from Knights. Once again, really quickly dealing with all utility around the site, getting that jacuzzi wall open, putting pressure in cash. There's a lot of elements that go into this round in particular, into this site. And if Knights can keep that pace up as they have already, Order will certainly have their backs against the wall.
Yeah, they absolutely will. So what can they do here to adapt again? It's already looking quite good here from the Knights. A lot of really good pressure on towards Cash and CC. It's really important map control to take as well. And in fact, there's actually not many, if any, Order players. I couldn't quite see the outlines. Actually think aren't hard holding it for once. No, they're not. Definitely not.
Interesting. On the ball, Raven. Your eyes are 20/20. No need to go to Specsavers. You've already been there. Spot on. Now, Dino. Oh my god. Oh. Takes Becker to the barber shop. That's a free buzz cut if ever I've seen one. Now things, again, are just working so well. Now is that? Yeah, that's Jack Daddy from inside a gym that's denying that Selma charge. All things considered, you love to see that. Now only 2 left in the pocket of Dino, but Jack Daddy has been forced to back away. Certainly can't be sticking around there for too long.
Certainly not. 90 seconds left in the round. Order going to have to just deal with this man disadvantage for now, but the way they've set up, they're kind of just about holding these positions and just trying to deny the info and deny that extra progression from the Knights. Just again, very patient movement here. The Knights are just being very thorough in this instance. That is certainly a really big trait of this team, is they don't really overextend and put themselves in poor positions. They might lose rounds on mistakes, but they're a very thorough team, and that can be really devastating on a map, particularly like Clubhouse. Nico has found an answer, though, on the ever-patient Dino out in Jacuzzi Wall. That is certainly going to help Order's chances.
They've been pretty good at finding the kills. Jack Daddy, a snake in the grass, and Con, and that is a huge kill to be able to refrag from Juicy. 35 seconds. Raven, have they done enough to displace Order?
It feels like they have right now. I don't think they realize exactly how much control they kind of have around this position, but they're just trying to be careful. 25 seconds here, Manic. They're going to just explode through sight. Sage is in first. He gets downed. Good trade, though.
Certainly is. Nico and Bailey, a dynamic duo to bring this one back. This could be massive if that Kobe hits. Oh no, ADS right inside. Can they deny? No, but Nico hits an unbelievable shot. Juicy now caught between a rock and a hard place. He gets squashed and down goes the round. Order confirming a third. They can't get there just yet, Raven, but it's going to happen. They certainly have gone to a third round. And I would say in a really clinical retake.
Yeah, it was a really nice retake there from Order, and just a bit of a slippage from Knights. Always really hard to cover that position, right? Because you could get rushed from a couple of different angles. So really unfortunate that the Knights couldn't cover it. But I will say, that's the third round in a row. The Knights have actually got a plant down. Of course, they didn't confirm that one, but it was a big part of their previous 2-round wins. So, I don't know. That's a positive the Knights can cling to, I guess, is they're getting themselves in positions to be able to get these plants down.
And just like that, they are going back to Church and Arsenal. So, not the greatest strike rate, 50-50, I guess. I mean, it's not the worst, let's be honest. The worst is the 100% zero, so there is no way about it. But this will give Knights hope, knowing that they've cracked that egg before. And they were pretty close in the first round as well, when we do look back at it and we think how quickly things turned for them. Again, I'm probably going to point to that blue push that really was squashed by Order in the first round, but was not in the fourth. And so that will be a point for us to talk about at the very least, as once again, Order sticking to this anchor, if you will, not really putting anybody's upstairs, at least for longer than the first minute.
This is a really, really important round in the grand scheme of things, honestly. Order winning this at least gives them that buffer moving into the second half, and also only puts them 3 rounds away from being able to take the 3 points. And conversely for the Knights, they need to stay in touch with Order so that as they rotate to second half, they've got that opportunity. Certainly for Order's sake, they need to win this in regulation. It just makes things so much more comfortable for them moving forward. And they won't want to leave that to chance. And conversely for Knights, they need to get 3 points here, because they're trying to Mexico spot. Getting 3 points actually puts them with that opportunity.
I am so I don't think we've talked about that enough. I feel like we've made comment on it, but it hasn't come down to a big enough conversation. The fact that they have head-to-head with Elevate, who then have head-to-head with QC, who actually have head-to-head with Knights, it is going to come down to the mini-league difference if they confirm only 2 points and Elevate lose their next game. There's quite a few little areas here, but 3 points on the line for Knights would almost put them in the best possible place to head to the Mexico Major, and we all know how important that would be for a roster like this. Not seeing the international play outside of APAC South, it could be massive, and so could that C4. Haywood thanks his lucky stars, because that's, 2 HP, 5 HP? Absurd.
That's easily one of those moments in game where you just go, how did they not just die?
Yeah.
Unbelievable that he survived that, but yes, it's going to make gunfights a bit tricky for him moving forward. But we're at a position here again, Manic. Still quite a bit of time on the board. And Knights have got themselves in a great spot with this attack, where it's put a lot of pressure all back into their sight. And they all have to just sit back in these positions and kind of prepare for the onslaught. And this is where there's a bit of pressure in the Knights camp. They need to keep this going. This is where a lot of teams can get stalled out. And it's been a bit 50-50 at the moment for the Knights and how that turns out.
Knights slowly extending their reach. As we said, each step forward is a step backwards for Order. So they need to be careful. That's an ambitious C4. Maybe a little bit of info, maybe a sound cue. That from Bailey is monstrous. He now pushes into Moto. They have to check this. I don't think Knights have the information.
Oh, this is classic Bailey. Gets into a tough little position. He manages to make these plays work so often, and the Knights are under onslaught right now.
That is just so well played from Bailey. Knights with a huge oversight. Josh is giving them a whim here, but that's all it is. And the impacts from Jack Daddy close it out with Bailey confirming a third kill. That is a 4-2 half and a massive statement from Order here in the first half.
Yeah, really big. Look, it's really hard to always judge exactly how a match is going to pan out when you've only seen one half. But I tell you what, Rob, I'm really feeling like this could be Order's match. It actually feels like we might be looking at Order winning this.
Yeah, this is... I mean, I don't want to make any comment right now, but they really are nudging in front with every single encounter. You know, that's... I mean, a 4-2 half, all things considered, maybe back in the day we wouldn't have really bat an eyelid at it. You know, considering the fact that it was so defender-sided, or at least for a small time, it felt like there was a favour toward it. But certainly this season has been anything but. It has been so even. Giving themselves that 2-round buffer cannot understate. This is massive for Order. That gives them so many chances before Knights even come into touching distance of winning this match. You know, we're talking 4 rounds before Order have to sweat. And you know for a fact they're going to want to confirm it before then. This is just such a great step for them in the right direction. And now, I mean, still, we'll talk about it later once we've had a look at the standings and this match is finished. But if Order win this in regulation, I'm pretty sure that Knights actually head to 5th. So there is a world in which Knights don't even make playoffs if they can't take a point away from this match.
Yep, I'm pretty sure you're true. And I'm just going to continue my stance of not trying to do the math, but it is certainly that hectic that you're right. Knights could actually miss out. So yeah, this is really big right now. A lot of pressure on the Knights, a lot of pressure on Order. I think in particular, you know, Order coming into this half with a bit of momentum, quite a bit of confidence. That's definitely dangerous for the Knights to have to deal with.
Yeah.
And this is already mission 1 passed here from Order, 30 seconds, even with the mirror, even with the bandit trick. They've got this wall open. That was really well done.
Yes, the big problem when you leave Thatcher in here, you know, I'm really curious to see how this buck ban goes for Knights. It has to play a huge effect on Order. It just absolutely must, because to not be banning either the Thatcher or the Habana, it's a very, very large call. Now, this could really, I mean, now that we're in this second half, now that Order are on the attack, it could show itself in full fruition. Certainly right now, Order have done a great job in the early round of getting things done. Like you said, that is well and truly the kennels wall open with additional lines of sight. They still have to worry about either garage or jacuzzi. They kind of can't leave both uncontested.
Did you see Sage is still lurking below in lounge as well? So they will have to think about that as it gets deeper into the round and exactly where they're going to plant. Right now they look poised to try and take out Dino. He's let them slip through. Dino is effectively quite surrounded right now. He's going to have to play for his life in this shower cubicle.
Oh, the rat in the corner gets caught out. That C4 could have been the end of Specker, but not to be. And here we go. This is really starting to look a little bit dire for Knights. Construction now taken. A minute left on the board. They've got to be careful of the pre-prepped hole straight through to Con. It'll make things a little bit tricky, but it doesn't look like Knights are playing the hard line right now. And I mean, they've got so much to deal with at the moment. Order still with a minute on the board and players starting to surround the site.
It's like they're shaping up for a plant. I don't know. I mean, it feels like it's cash. Nate's got diffuser though. He's not that side, so maybe they are still going for default. They haven't dealt with garage. So I don't know, this is going to be a bit of a sketchy little finish here. Nate has rotated, in fact. So yeah, plant not going to be the default. Hayward's going to be left alone on rafters. This is a big deal right now.
Certainly is. Josh is still somehow alive, and that's going to be Nico just forcing his way through to cash. Whips out the primary. Hayward dropping down Specker, but here's the thing. Plant is already going down by Nate. Juicy gets completely blinded. He could have denied it. And now it is essentially two isolated players for Order. They have to hold on here as Knights start to get a little bit closer. They've got the crossfire set, but Nate can't hit the shot. Jack Daddy now has to play a massive save here for this round. Juicy starting to defuse. In and out he goes. It is Order that are dropping that round on the back of a beautiful retake from the Knights.
Yep, that was quite hectic. And look, well played from both teams in very different regards. And massive props to Knights to be able to get that retake and hold that off. I think, again, very important round for them. They don't want Order to be able to carry that momentum from the first half through, winning that first attack round as well, giving them a 3-round buffer. It really would have been devastating. So this was big from the Knights to get that stop on Cash CC as well, being the less likely to be won by the defenders.
Points that are needed at the moment. Only one within touching distance of Order now. That first half may all but go to waste here. If they can confirm this round, again, you just do the simple math of the fact that they've already taken 2 sites in. They will then be forced to go to gym and bedroom, which statistically speaking is fantastic for the defense, all things. But this is, they're just going to have to take it round by round here, Raven, because letting Order kind of come back into this match in any way, shape or form, a 5th round, a 6th round, is just so costly to the Knights' potential for the major. Maybe not so much for their opportunity to make playoffs, but 100% each round the Order take back is really going to cost the Knights quite drastically. So that mental game, I'm not going to say the quote, but the mental game is so important here.
It is, yeah. I love that you brought that focus back. This is not just about Order's chance at playoffs. It is also about Knights' chances at playoffs, but also their chance to get top spot, to get direct invite to Mexico Major. It is still in the possibility here for Knights. So certainly not something that they will want to give up easily and will want to go down fighting. They don't want to leave anything out of the server, put it all in. Feels like that is the case right now, but Order, they do still have the lead. This is already a really nice, swift entry, and this hard roam is getting stuck here by Knights. I think there's still 2 players up above. This is going to be a big call from Order, whether they decide to try and pinch and push this out, or maybe they push to site and kind of ignore it and catch them on the rotate.
Oh, Nico, that's filthy. What a flick. Josh will be absolutely spewing. Oh, it just gave me goosebumps, man. That flick was so gnarly, and now it really has, look how far Order have progressed here. That player that is all the way over in Garage is isolated, so too is the player in Bedroom. They can cut off all rotates here, Order, and just put pressure on site. This is, once again, just looking so good.
Yeah, it is, and this is going to be tough for Dino now, because they seem aware, a bit ill-advised from Specker on the main stairs. He's going to get absolutely railed by Juicy. Now, this is where it gets interesting. 4v4. Dino is still lurking on the main stairs. I really do wonder how aware Order are that he is still in this position.
And earlier in the round, we saw someone hard watching it, but that's kind of fault. Yeah, still hard watching that. So Dino's position is known. That is still Nate watching both. Oh my God, Dino! What have you just done? You have violated Order. And in doing so, you may well have just secured yourself the equaling round here. You just have. That is insane from the Knights.
Yeah, look, really big there from Dino. And just in general, the Knights, they did lose that opening pick. They were kind of on the back foot. It felt like Order's progression was really solid, putting that pressure back on site. But through that flank from Dino and just general, really solid defense from the Knights there on site. We saw some great picks from Juicy through their little setup in church. Look, they brought that back, and not only that round, but they've now brought this deficit back to 4-4. It's kind of like cancelling out that first half. And suddenly, I guess the pressure really goes back onto Order here to try and hold this off, not let this be a bit of a run from the Knights through to a victory.
There are just so many outcomes. My head is spinning right now. But, you know, the important thing that everyone just has to remember is the more points you take, the better off you are. That's just as simple as I can make it. Yeah. And Order letting this slip would almost be as big as Chiefs letting it slip in the last 2 rounds of last game. You know, they were up 6-4 on Chalet against 7th Heaven. If they had won that in regulation, they would have confirmed their place in playoffs. Which is, you know, you then think about that, and now Chiefs' future is all in the hands of Knights. Essentially, if Knights let Order into this game, if they let them win this, Chiefs' opportunity becomes slimmer and slimmer by the second. That margin just decreases so drastically.
Yep.
And you know, just so many teams right now will be watching this, holding their breath, because this really is just utter insanity. There is 4 points, let's say 5 points right now. Oh no, it is. It's 4 points between first and last place. That's all that decides this entire league.
It's pretty hectic. And yeah, I feel like tonight can be really summed up by the meme of the detective guy at like his wall with all the red string and the line. This is how everything connects. Like that totally feels like how it's been all night, and it changes just round by round where it could go. Absolutely loving it. But back to the game here. This first minute's probably been one of the less eventful first minutes, at least, of rounds we've had so far. But Order are just trying to take their time, and I like the change of pace, honestly. I guess Order identified that maybe they were getting a bit ahead of themselves.
Yeah,
back in, and that's really good to see that kind of restraint.
I'm certain for a roster like this, it wouldn't be the easiest of things to do, because they are really fast and furious, you know. Dom Toretto kind of fast, and just like that, Josh is furious, and he's away with this round.
Would you say that Josh has family?
Josh is family.
Josh is family. All right, this is, yeah, look, another standout point here for the Knights to be able to take this early man advantage. Not sure I'd really call it early, given we're past the halfway point, but either way, it's feeling more solid and solid as we go by here, Manic, in this half. The Knights are just continuing to step it up. And this is, where it gets super scary. And man, what a shot from Juicy.
That's just so utterly important that he confirms that kill there, because Nico, being the cheeky kind of player he is, that would have been a real momentum swing for Order. And Nate may still be trying to open this round up, but Knights, I mean, look at their positioning. Order have not done enough, but Josh might walk right into the open hands. They've literally walked past each other. Josh has just found the kill. That is such a massive error. Jack Daddy cleans up like a janitor, and now a 2 versus 2 ensues.
Pretty nuts. At least it was a trade, but yeah, it does change momentum. But now 20 seconds, it puts this pressure on Order. Jack Daddy needs to confirm this kill, and he doesn't. All on Bailey's shoulders right now. He also can't get it. Dino, once again, standing up for the Knights, and they're starting to inch further forward to getting these 3 points.
Man, Dino he's on fire right now for this roster. He has come up massively clutch in 2 rounds in a row. I mean, that 2v2 swings so easily. Jack Daddy starting to gain momentum in his own playstyle is quickly shut down. And the fact that he finds that kill concussed. And it's Bailey. Bailey is their statistical best player for Stage 2, and he shut him down without a second thought. And now we head back to CCTV. All 3 sites confirmed here for Knights. This is seriously concerning for Order, because I look back and it does not really look like there has been a single round that we've been convinced by. First round was a plant, but a beautiful retake. Third round, they were pretty much shut down by some nice little cheeky roams and flanks from Knights. You know, there's so many things right now that are not looking that positive for Order, and their attack just has to be so much more clinical from now on.
Yeah, time for Order to switch on here, and every round that goes by, we're at the scary end of the match here, where one more round lost for Order means no more 3 points to them. And as we were saying, getting 3 points is the way to be a bit more comfortable with the way that the standings could finish up. If that is taken away from Order, they're leaving a lot up to chance yet again. But on the flip side, the Knights here, they're inching closer to potentially giving themselves the best opportunity to potentially make the Mexico Major directly. And I tell you who is sweating on is also Elevate, because they get to play. They've got the next match. And with the Knights getting 3 points here, that would mean that they seriously need to pull their finger out and get a serious win against IG, or Elevate could have to face playoffs.
Well, that's the thing. Elevate have to, if Knights confirm all 3 points here, this is absolutely for certain. Elevate cannot lose in regulation or in OT. They cannot lose because Knights have the head-to-head. So this is really a big match for Elevate as they head into Invictus Gaming International. Sage! Oh my god! These shots are just nutty from Knights.
I feel like they've really activated in the second half, honestly. I mean, I remember I was staring at Sage. He was 0-5 at one point, and now he's 5-5. Like, he literally hasn't died since I was thinking about calling him out for a donut. So
he's a defensive player, bro.
Must be that. Must be that. But either way, and just in general, the Knights, maybe defensive team, I don't know, they've really stepped it up in the second half. And conversely, Order just haven't been able to really pull it together. As you said, they really did have their best opportunity in the first round of this half. But since then, it's just continuously been slipping away.
Nico's position now known. Can Bailey get into position in time to maybe put a bit of pressure on Juicy, I believe that is, or it's actually Sage who's going to be taking that fight. Once again, another kill confirmed. Oh my god, Sage on a triple kill. You can't slow him down. He is a madman.
Incredible. He has gone on an absolute tear, and now, again, it's just up to Jack Daddy. And again, the Knights, they do not take their foot off the accelerator. They slam it home, and now, Rob, they're on match point.
Oh my god, this is Knights all but confirming the best possible scenario to head to the Mexico Major. The first time that this team will compete. I mean, it's huge. Massive. This is the first time they will compete at an international event. I'm not crazy in saying that, am I?
No, I mean, like, they've made majors in the past, but unfortunately it was last year when we were kind of in the online major phase, so they only really
so they only played the OS major, yes.
Yeah. So yeah, this would be their first actual national major, so it's been a long time coming, but of course, even if they get this round, even if they get these 3 points, job's still not done. They'll have to wait and see what happens in this next game, which is IG versus Elevate. So yeah, they would just be joining the line of teams waiting to see the end of the night to find out what is happening.
That's the problem. We always knew that this night was going to cause so much confusion. We never knew where this was going to go. By the way, Order Attack, just in case you were wondering. Like, it is really, really insane to think how many outcomes were possible tonight. And I think most have been pretty well suited in its actions so far. You know, Wildcard winning their game. Then, of course, Chiefs going to OT against 7th Heaven. I still think they could have done that in regulation. But here and now, Knights are about to go 4 rounds straight. And again, like you said, Raven, and I'll reiterate to all viewers, all they're doing is putting themselves in the best possible scenario. That's all they're doing. Because at the end of the day, Elevate still have a potential 3 points to grab. Now, of course, because of the way that this league is now formatted, which I absolutely love, I say every time, but the way that this is now played out, you have a potential for 0, 1, 2, and 3 points. We've got overtime wins and losses, which account for, you know, all 3 points to be made up in the different scenarios. So there are just so many still. There are so many opportunities here that Knights still go to the Mexico Major, but it is just going to be such a tense last match for Elevate. And I'm sure they're sitting back watching this game thinking, oh God, no, please, please no. Order, take them to OT, give us a better chance. But nevertheless, Knights are showing why they finished third in in APAC overall in the last stage.
They certainly are. And now this is, again, massive pressure on the shoulders of Order. They have to step it up here. They need to turn this around. They've got 2 rounds to at least overtime, and that's really important here. That is the fate that Order is facing. If they want any kind of victory, they need to push this to OT. 2 rounds to do so. That is scary given they have not yet won a single attack round out of 4 possible opportunities. They're continuously seeming like they are just being more careful and more careful. Trying to be thorough here to catch the Knights off guard, but the Knights are just not giving them an inch.
I know I've said it before and I'll say it again, but Order are the team that you give them an inch and they'll take a mile, so you can't afford to even let them in the round. You can't leave that door slightly ajar. They will shove their foot in there and swing it open. And this is... It is just the single most important round for Knights. They've done an incredible job at bringing this back, but now they have to close it out. There is no real opportunity for Order. If they play the way they have in the last 4 rounds, it's just gorgeous, and that is a big start. Juicy has been dropped, but likely in a position where he can be picked up.
Yeah, they're going to get some drones out, though, to figure out exactly whether he's been downed or not. Actually looks like it's a savable position. Knights just not rushing, but speaking of rush, Order, they're going to go through Ashwall here into Arsenal. Specker is in. He's going deep, and this is massive here. They could catch the Knights off guard.
And they certainly have. The plant's going down. Spec is so far progressed that Knights can't afford to try and fight this. That's a gorgeous C4. But look at the control that Order have taken in the meantime. 2 players watching the cross. Oh, what a swing from Bailey. It's all on a Josh and a small little call. That's all it is. A call from Specker to just go deep in Arsenal is what has netted Order a monstrous round. We could be headed to overtime.
The setup was beautiful too. You'd literally, about 30 seconds before it happened, said if you give Order an inch, they'll take it a mile.
Yep.
They certainly did that. They saw that opening. They pulled it off fantastically. It was easily, I mean, obviously it was the only attack round they've won so far, but it's easily the best Order attack we've seen in this match. But I would almost say maybe the best Order round in general, because it really just showed them take composure. They assessed the situation. I mean, I remember calling out that they'd taken a very slow approach to the initial first minute. But once they found their opportunity, they pounced, and they did so as a team. It was actually a really great round for them in the end. And here we are, Manic, 6-5. The Knights, they need these 3 points. This is huge for them. And where are they? They are Gym Bedroom, the highest defense win percentage for Clubhouse this stage.
And now I can feel the sweat from the Chiefs. The Chiefs 100% want Order losing here. They do not want them getting to OT, because if Order get to OT and they win in OT, again, I'm almost certain that they have the round difference over them in the mini league. So that means that Chiefs are going to be sent packing. And after they bowed out in stage 1 playoffs, oh man, it would just be gutting considering what has been stage 2. It has been a tough fight from start to finish. And if you don't believe me, here's a quick little fact. Go to Liquipedia, go to stage 2 of APAC South and look at the standings. That will show you everything you need to know. But here it is, the final round of Order's potential stage 2 campaign.
Or is it? We will find out. That EMP seems like it's missed the mark. It's not going to have actually gotten rid of the mute jammer, so that means Specker is going to have to come around. They've wasted one. They've also wasted a bit of time. Not a massive amount, you know, still 40 seconds in getting this wall open, but they've still got a big task ahead of them. They've got to try and get a bit more map control in through cash and logistics to try and get some teeth into this attack.
Well, that's just it, isn't it? Even when we've seen them get a little bit of a bite, Knights have responded quite well. And as we inch closer, like my heart is starting to beat for Knights here, because this is just such a massive opportunity. I cannot talk enough about that. To put the pressure on Elevate would be nuclear. Again, all 3 points, and Elevate cannot lose their next match no matter what happens. And it looks like Order are starting to get a pretty good grip on this round, though. Starting to, once again, push the players into the site, suffocate the space around it. And Knights, it's going to come down to their hold.
Absolutely is time ticking away from Order right here, but they're in some pretty good positions. Specker in particular, he's got a very threatening position here on main stairs, which isn't really heavily guarded at all from Knights. This could be devastating. If Specker finds a pick out of this, huge deal.
I didn't even see the Ella. That is quite large. That mine is going to give them the information that they need to know that Specker was there, regardless of if they did or they didn't. And now you can see Juicy just playing behind. Oh, that's a monstrous pick. That is Bailey out of the hands of Order. He's been sidelined, Raven. Order are losing time.
They are 45 seconds away from potentially losing this game completely. 0 points. They are in some really solid positions. They've put the pressure on the Knights' defense. They know the replay is still off-site as well. It is Josh. But 30 seconds dictates what could potentially happen for the rest of APAC South Stage 2, Matic.
Oh my god, and Haywood is almost writing the script himself. It is Order fighting back. We've said that Nate has had a pretty decent Stage 2, but this would be a different story altogether. 3 players for Knights. They have to hold this. As it Nate again, he's in position. He can't find the kill. Surely they're going to be able to find it. It's Juicy to close things out. And Knights have put themselves in the best possible position to head to the Mexico Major. What a performance.
Absolutely huge performance from Knights. Honestly, we were a bit doubtful coming out of the first half. They were down 2-4. I tell you what, they squashed that pretty quick. 4 rounds in a row. Once the Pop and Church Arsenal, but Gym Bedroom really brought it home for them. And as you said, Matic, they have given themselves that best opportunity to direct qualify for the Mexico Major. Their fate is in the hands of